Beach or surf fishing is one of the most popular styles of recreational angling right around the southern half of Australia, and with good reason.
You walk up over the edge.
Well, this is a new beach to me too. I mean, you're quite familiar with this one, but...
A huge percentage of our country's population live within an hour or so's drive of a fishable beach, and most of them hold a variety of desirable species that are both fun to catch and good to eat.
Yeah, reading the beach is something that a lot of people seem to have problems with.
But as accessible as surf fishing is, it still confuses lots of hopefuls. What's the best gear to use? When's the best time to go? And perhaps most important of all, whereabouts on the beach is the prime spot to cast a bait or a lure? One of the best times to assess a beach for likely spots is on the low tide, especially if you can get a bit of elevation on a headland or a sand dune. This really helps you to see into the water and identify likely fish holding features such as gutters, holes and sandbar drop-offs. You might even be lucky enough to see some fish themselves or the birds that they attract, and you should always be on the lookout for that.
Big hole down there, and if I'm not mistaken, that dark smudge out there might be a school of salmon.
And you should always be on the lookout for those signs.
Let's get down there.
Roger and I can't wait to get our lines in the water.
Braided gives us an opportunity. We can fish the edges of the sandbar where it meets the deep water on the drop-off, which is always fantastic.
But as keen as we are, we still take the time to place our gear well above the wash zone and to push our PVC rod holders into the sand to hold our spare outfits. Using these simple rod holders greatly extends the life of your tackle. I'm pretty keen to get my lure out there to where I can see that black mass of fish. I don't think it'll take too long to get a hook up. Yes! Those guys in the chopper must have a terrific view of the schooling fish. Wow.
First cast into this hole, I've hooked up a traded to Australian salmon.
I'm using one of the new Shimano surf rods and a large capacity lightweight Shimano Ultegra reel.
So much fun. Hasn't jumped yet. Yeah, it's not a real big salmon, but all good performers. Woo-hoo. Back and use the waves to wash him up. This next wave will be a beauty. And up he comes. What a chunk. Little salmon. Really fat. And he's absolutely whooped that lure. Not a bad start. If I can get these hooks out easily, I'll let him go. That's going to come out quite easily. That's out. I'll pop him back in. There you go, mate.
Well, that's a pretty good start. Let's see what the next cast produces. I'm so impressed with how easy it is to throw long casts off this gear, especially using braid.
Now I can see a dark smudge in the water out here, and I've seen the odd splash. Oh yeah! Ooh, that was a big fish.
Dropped one and on again straight away. This is red hot fishing.
So much fun fighting fish off the beach. You don't have to worry about rocks and weed and snags. You can really enjoy the fight of the fish, and they use the power of the water to their advantage. Just put up such a strong resistance.
This modern surf fishing tackle is such lightweight but potent equipment. It's an absolute joy to use, especially compared to the heavy, cumbersome outfits so many of us grew up with. I love it.
Close here, and here's a wave to wash it out. Oh, this might be a tailor. It is. Wow, it's a nice tailor. We've got a mixed school of Australian salmon and tailor. Oh. Really lucky day, mate. Look with your back. That's a perfect breakfast fish right there. Take that home and eat it fresh. That would be delicious. We'll pop it in the smoker, and I'm going to put it back in the water. See what we catch next time.
I enjoy taking a feed of fresh fish home, but I only keep what I need and can use straight away. The rest goes back. Okay, I can see the schools moving, so I'll follow them down the beach and fire my lure out ahead of them.
Right. We're out there where I can see that dark smudge. I let it sink, make sure it hits the bottom. Nice brisk retrieve. It shouldn't take too long.
I can see the schools moving again. They're quite mobile and active. I need to try and get my lure back in front of them by changing my casting angle. But what I didn't realise from down at beach level is that the school is actually under attack. A trio of dolphins has moved in and is hunting the mixed school of tailor and salmon, balling them up and pushing them along the beach. The view from the drone is remarkable. Whoa, just look at that. Yet surprisingly, despite being harried by those marine predators, the fish are still willing to hit a well-placed lure. That's amazing.
You pause into the drops and tweaks of the rod rather than just a straight retrieve. That definitely triggers the strike that time.
Mixing up your retrieves can really help, and jigging the lure often works wonders, imitating a sick or injured baitfish. This feels like another solid one too. It's putting on quite a performance in the shallows, and eventually all those jumps and head shakes succeed in throwing the lure. But I don't think it matters too much. It's just a case of getting my lure out in front of them again.
That easy ability to be able to make really long casts is so beneficial in this situation. Push them up really close in. I do like that jigging action.
How's those jumps? And it's another nice tailor.
The fattest tailor I've ever seen. I was sure it was the salmon when it came out of the water. It was so thick through. Might keep that one, he's bleeding a little bit. Like I said, they're pretty good tucker. Hang on to that one.
Steve's been straight into the action with a metal lure, because we could see a school of fish in this gutter when we walked down. I've got a couple of fresh worm baits. I'm going to pelt them out there, and salmon love worms, so let's see what happens when I toss a worm bait out as opposed to a lure. I have the same amount of success. I've actually got 2 worm baits on my line, so...
Roger's using fairly similar gear to mine, but he's spooled up with mono and he's running a bait rig instead of a lure, just as a comparison. He wades out a little and fires his rig into the gutter.
What about in the zone? Let's see how we're back on the right. Steve and I have found this wonderful deep gutter that comes really close to shore. And we've been visibly able to see, because the water's clear, we can see a school of salmon out there. At the moment, I've tossed my bait out in the middle of the deep water because that's where we can see where the fish are. However, I do like to fish on either side of the gutter where the waves crash, where the white water meets the deep water. So I'm really tempted to do that for my next cast. I'll probably cast over onto the edge of the sandbar and just pull it off the edge of the sandbar into the edge of the deep water. Very often predatory fish will hunt on the edges of that white water because all of the bait fish, they try to hide in the white water from the deep water. At the moment I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere with my bait. Just give it a couple more minutes and then I'm going to readjust and cast it to the spot. This is one of the things when you can actually see fish. It's good to land your bait right in the middle where the fish are. And I landed a little bit to the left there. Still, I'm going to wait for a second.
Notice how Roger picks up his line with his finger ahead of the reel to feel for bites. This is important. It helps to detect the difference between the pull of the surf and a fish. But so far, nothing's happening.
So I think I'm actually going to recast, just position myself a little bit better.
Meanwhile, I'm still jigging my lure, and sure enough,
getting some great distance, which is great.
Roger gives me a bit of extra room by moving up the beach a short distance, but my fish has got different ideas.
This is one of the differences with braid. You've got no stretch in the system, so you do have to make allowances for that by using a slightly light braid, not going quite as hard on the fish, and you can pull hook quite well. So I just love that very soft pattern. That's a nice salmon. Everything here is just so full of tucker. There must be a lot of bait fish out there.
Roger's on. The fish have found his beachworm baits. Nice one.
It didn't take that long with the worms.
Notice how Roger uses his long, relatively light rod as a shock absorber to soak up the jumps and head shakes of the hooked fish. He maintains firm, steady pressure and works the fish into the wash. There's no need to rush things. And once he gets it in close, he'll use the wave action to his advantage.
Just going over near you, Steve.
Trying to get a double.
This guy is swinging left. Really close to the shore. You always got to be careful when you go fish on the edge. That's that sort of wave.
With a bigger fish, this is the critical stage of the fight, and it may take a few attempts to find exactly the right moment and the right wave to successfully beach your catch. The worst thing you can do at this point is to panic and try to bully that fish up onto the sand. That's how most prize catches are lost.
Fit my hand around him. Really, they're an amazing Australian fish, these guys, and fairly underrated. We love eating them. It's a beautiful fish, but he's going to live to fight another day. We're going to toss our line straight back out again. Really loving this equipment. It's going so well.
Roger and his family eat lots of fish, but they also put lots back for the future. That's something we all need to think about doing these days. We've had an amazing session on the beach this morning, all thanks to taking the time to observe our spot from a handy vantage point and actually see a large school of fish. Of course, it doesn't always work out like that, and in future videos I'll show you lots of other ways to find fish in the surf. But if you like this one, please give me a thumbs up down below and subscribe to the channel. Oh, and while you're at it, check out these other 2 surf fishing episodes. I think you'll like them too. Until next time, this is Starlo wishing you tight lines.